I'm glad everything prior to that was off the record. Uh, I will say all good things now
So
about
now
the.
we're going to get into the good stuff.
No, now we're
Yeah.
gonna get into the clean. But yeah, I did that. So now
No,
I'm here.
nah, man, I think that story is important to be told because it shows as you walk to I know you walk into the next room, it shows that there's ups and downs in the industry, and you have to learn how to pivot and do those things. And I think that's important for, especially people that's wanting to get into this industry to hear. Like, sometimes you may not get in the way you went. You start off as an artist, but you may pivot to something else. And I think that is very important to kind of like kind of stress on there. So I know when we I know one thing I want to talk about, Donnie, is like what was some of your biggest challenges, when as you're navigating your way through this industry, what do you feel your biggest challenges was, as an executive, as a, transition to where you are now?
Um, Maybe this is more music industry looking. And my camera looks horrible. Hold on one second, y'all. It's a glare. Challenges. Um, I think that the biggest challenges really were just diplomacy. Um, I think diplomacy was really tough. Understanding the political aspect of any business that you're in. Um, and timing. That's probably it. I think I did a lot of shit with too much of a sense of urgency, and I could have just chilled out a little bit and probably got more accomplished. So that's probably the biggest challenge. I mean, I can expound on it, but I would
No,
love
no.
to feel I would love for this to feel conversational. So if y'all got questions on the stuff that we talking about, it would
Oh,
be
for sure. Yeah, yeah. They definitely gonna put them in the chat, and we'll pivot over to there if we see something coming up.
yeah, I don't want to be too vague about that though. But yeah, diplomacy for sure.
Got you. And so when you're as you built a few companies, and founding and scaling in these companies across, various things, like, what advice would you offer an aspiring entrepreneur that, maybe they, even as an artist, I think artists also got to understand they're all entrepreneurs in a way, right? They are the CEOs of their own brand. And so what advice would you give to that person that's, because you're, as you're doing these different, whether it be a management company, whether it be your own publishing, independent publishing company, whatever they want to start, like, what are some key factors in this business that to look out for, or kind of advice you would give to that up and coming person that's wanting to get into this thing?
Yeah, as I'm looking at everybody's careers in here, it's a lot of marketing. So I think if you want to get into marketing,
For sure.
well,
So
I'm
let's
talking about the chat. I'm looking at everybody put their
Gotcha.
in here. I'm like scrolling through it. I think finance is probably the biggest piece of advice I would say. Learn finance. Um, and specifically like more like finance admin, right? Like macro finance, macroeconomics, the impact of finance. So less about like saving money and like all that passive income shit people say, and more about like the weaponization of finances. Like uh understanding, customer acquisition costs, understanding what a performer is, and understanding how to create a performer document, understanding how to do forecasting, understanding what projections look like, understanding uh how to analyze, process, and audit uh, wherever you want to put money at. I think that's when we were super young, like I said, we made, I think, like with backyard, I was 24, 25. I think we did like 300, 400 grand a month for like 6 months in a row. And I was like, oh shit, this is crazy. And we started hiring people. We were like, oh, let's hire this person, that person. We started meeting people and fall in love and like loving the whole staff. And our CPA was like, man, you should really slow down on CPA, certified public accountant, if y'all don't know that already. But our CPA was like, man, you should really hold off on hiring so many people. And he gave us like a formula on how to understand
Yeah.
when to hire and how many people to hire and how you measure return on hiring people. And we completely didn't give a fuck about it. And then we winded up continuing to hire people. And if till this day I still use that document, but I think if I would have understood younger to just fall in love with the numbers and to understand the creativity of numbers, like math is a science and science is a form of art and creativity and exploration. So falling in love with the concept of creativity in numbers and storytelling through numbers, that would be my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah, man. And speaking the money part, you've been having some big conversations. Even I hit you up about the whole streaming era, how these artists can, you know, utilize what space should they focus on from a marketing aspect, and in the streaming era, like how are you developing artists at your level, at in your space now, using the tools that you created and what you know now, because you had some of these conversations about, man, we should be doing this versus what this is already. Can you speak to some of those kind of things? Because I think those are some interesting conversations people, especially some of a lot of indie artists or indie community, indie kind of people in here, and I think they'll kind of appreciate that kind of conversation on that.
Yeah, I think just how you approach marketing, and everybody in here is music related, from what I understand, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, so how the music industry looks at marketing is very kind of like counterproductive. Like it's a very like shotgun approach to just shooting at everything and hoping something lands, like throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. I think that on a foundational level, the point of marketing is to drive sales, right? And what you want to do, perfect. What you want to do is really focus on conversion. And you'll hear people say that at labels sometimes, but they really don't know what the hell they're talking about. Like they'll say like we're running like digital ads against this asset and driving people to an editorial playlist on Spotify. So it's an Instagram ad, but when you click it, it takes you to Fresh Finds or Rap Caviar or whatever, and that click through is going to drive people to the playlist, so then they keep you on the playlist longer. And that really doesn't mean shit, because if a million people listen to it, you made like $4,000. What I'm more so referring to when I think about marketing is like if we opened up like a clothing brand or a restaurant, every day that you open a restaurant, if nobody sits in the restaurant to eat the food, you know you don't have a business. So I think it's more so approaching music marketing through the lens of what is our complete funnel for marketing and what do we want to happen. I think Even is probably the best platform in the music industry right now, as far as like a way to measure the actual impact that's happening.
But
Of
even.biz, right?
Even.biz, yep,
Gotcha.
Mac and his whole team. And for us, we've turned that into Even as a part of our tech stack at Third and Hayden, where the next releases we do, all of them will be through Even first for about 6 weeks before we even put it on streaming. And all the traffic that we're driving people to from ads and marketing is going to drive to Even, so that people can actually purchase the music. And if they don't want to purchase the music, that's fine. But the people who did purchase it, that is a conversion, that is a customer, that is a dollar. And that's a business. You know what I mean? I think a lot of the music industry is kind of built on this idea of marketing to build a lot of hype and then hoping you can get like $5 million in an advance from a major label. But
Yeah.
nobody thinks about like how that 5 million is going to get made back, whether it was even a good deal for the label. Just kind of want like this lottery ticket thing. It's like buying a million lottery tickets. Um, and just hoping you hit the lotto once, but not knowing shit about money. I
Yeah.
don't know if that answered the question, but
No, it does. I mean, it just the approach to marketing has to be a little different than the same old. You're gonna get the same results a lot of times if you keep doing those things. Um, but But yeah, so I know we had Tiffany had a question. Do you have any tips or suggestions for networking in the music industry outside of that company bubble? Like, how are you meeting the people that you work with? Whether I know you sit at certain places. I know you work at a certain different offices. Sometimes that's why you meet certain people and getting access. But what are some key things you do in that world as far as the network in this industry?
yeah, I mean, I threw parties a lot. I'm about to start throwing some events again, but I think, I'm relatively introverted. Like I'm only really doing this because I'm a GM now, and AD is also a friend.
Yeah,
But in general, I don't really care to talk too much. I'm extremely introverted. So the easiest way for me in the early days to network was to just invite people into a space I could control, because I always felt like, you know, when I lived in the West End in Atlanta, It was me and 3 friends. We lived in like a really horrible neighborhood, but in a really nice house. It was like gentrified 101. It was like a 2-story, 4-bedroom house, like fully remodeled, modern, like backsplash and all that stuff. But we had no furniture, so we used to just throw house parties and like buy like a shit ton of Taka Vodka and like make hunch punch and shit like that. Um, but slowly but surely, as I would bump into people, I would be like, "Yo, I do this thing in my house called Slump Saturdays. Y'all should come." Like, it's me and all my friends, and then that turned into like, that turned into Reese LaFleur pulling up, and Fat Man Keith pulling up, and Fonny, and like I'm naming like Atlanta people, but like it was just a lot of the like Lil Yachty and Cody Shane and those people start pulling up. So I started building this reputation as like a cool videographer because I wasn't just shooting music videos. I was also like building culture. So I think the easiest way to network, if you I hate networking. Like if my co-founder was on this call, he'll tell you like we speak at conferences all the time, and I don't do shit until it's time to get on stage. I don't talk to people. I don't get business cards. I don't like I'm horrible at that shit. And that doesn't mean it's the best thing to do, but I just don't like it. Like I don't it just feels weird to me. But what I do really, really well is host people. So my suggestion to you would be, find a space that's free, make a flyer and DM people and just tell them, hey, I'm doing, concerts, or I'm doing like a house show. Like in Savannah, we used to do a lot of house shows with like bands. They would like literally put drum sets, the whole kit in like a living room, and then we would invite people and have like beer and stuff like that, and people just pull up. And it's just easier to just say like, yo, this is my shit, versus like, hey, like my name's Donny and I want to shoot videos for you. It's like, yo, thanks for coming. And they're like, oh, this is your shit. And it's like, yeah, like this is my party. I'm glad to have you here. If you want something to drink, you know what I mean? You can go over here. If you want, this is so and so. Let me introduce you to them. And you kind of become like an authority in the space. So, all that's my advice. If you know how to like talk to people and just pull up on somebody and just like converse, do that shit. You have a superpower. That shit is a gift from God. But in my particular case, like AD will tell you, like we hosted events at the SoundCloud office. Like that's what I do.
Yeah.
Um, I don't
And
know.
I think that's a good approach. Like if you know you're a certain way and you want to be more in an environment that's comfortable for you, and you have a cool access to locations, like people pulled up all the time to the SoundCloud office to listen to music and all types of things. Like that's a cool place. Hey, I'm going to SoundCloud today. People like to say that, and and random people will come. So that's a different approach than I think we heard on some other conversations. So I like that. We have another question from Dennis Perez on here. Um, it's I guess with this industry, there's a lot of changes going on, especially on the executive side, the music executive side. So any tips or advice on how to break into the record industry with labels in terms of artist management, booking, marketing? With most I guess he had most of Dennis had most of the experience in live production and want to kind of transition onto the other side. Like, is there any advice on how to kind of, move into those other spaces? Because you've done it successfully, from going from content creation to videographer to, these various creative agency type things to now an executive as well as an artist manager. So, what does that transition looks like for someone to enter in?
Yeah, I mean, just do shit. Like that's the easiest. I don't, and I suck at these, so forgive me if this is like not helping some people or like not inspiring. But I mean, I just feel like doing shit never fails. Like,
Give me an example of that. Like, what is something doing? What that should be doing?
uh, do you have any tips or advice on how to break into the record industry with labels and terms? So this is from an artist perspective.
This from somebody want to get into.
Well, I'm looking in the chat. I'm asking whoever that was, Dennis
Okay.
Perez or Denise Perez. Um,
Yes, and that's more into breaking into that field of work.
as like a manager or as an admin person.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, do shit. And do shit meaning like produce a show. Like go, if you have a job, get $500 and find an artist you like and a venue and do a show and like record it and post it on Instagram and invite people and tell the artist to promote and split the money with the artist. Like do shit. You know what I mean? I think I've been uh, you know my ability to come up with strategies the way that I do, that I think has maybe been the only reason I'm kind of seeing some success in my life, is I've just done so much shit. Like I've been a music video director. I've been a video editor. I've been a producer. Yeah, building a portfolio. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, like you just do shit. And the more you do shit, you get all of the lessons. One of my OGs, OG Shaka Zulu, he's Ludacris's manager. He says the lessons are in the work. Like that's his like go-to phrase. It's like I can tell you everything or you can go learn, and like the lessons are in the work. Right. So like the quicker that you find the work, the quicker that you're gonna get all the information in the world. You know what I mean? You're gonna learn what it means to book a venue. You're gonna learn what it means to set up a merch booth. You're gonna learn what it means to get a split of the bar. You're gonna learn what it means to, you're gonna learn all of the like nuance shit of like, you throw enough parties, you start to understand that like if the party's dead or if it's like too many at least in like hip hop and like the stuff that I was doing at that time, like if it was too many gangsters in a party, the easiest way to break the ice is to like introduce gangsters to like your homegirls and give people like free shots for like one song. That's like the easiest way to stop somebody from getting shot in a party. And you know that because if you've done enough parties and somebody got shot at your parties, then you know like the gangsters got mad because none of the girls were talking to them because they seemed scary. And then as soon as you introduce the gangsters to the girls and they smile and the girl's like, oh, look at that. He's not even that scary. Now he's not mad and he don't want to shoot nobody and nobody dies. But you only learn that if you throw the party. If you don't throw the party and you watch a bunch of YouTube videos on it, then you'll do a lot of textbook shit, but you don't get like that texture of like noticing everything. So as a manager on tours, I'm pretty active on like being in the crowd and seeing who knows the words to songs and pulling those people to the side and making sure they go to the merch booth and making sure they meet the artists, or like you notice to pay attention to every fucking thing because you've not paid attention to it so much that you're like, I will never forget to do that again. Like a whole fight just happened because I let that dude who just looked angry just be angry in the corner instead of just giving him a drink and being like, hey, bro, this is my best friend, Sarah, and she's cool and you're cool and y'all seem cool. I like your shoes. Like, and now he's not mad anymore. You learn that through doing. So do shit.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's important for us hands-on experience. I think we all have some sense of success just doing it. Like I think like that's the same role I had. I didn't have any experience what I was doing now, but I started it and I learned and doing it, just started doing it within my own community, my own city. And I think that's a kind of very, very important to kind of touch on that kind of stuff. So had another question from Isabel. Um, what was the key thing you did that helped your career succeed and made your business grow? I think you touched on some of these things already, but was there any key like moment or thing that, hey, I did this, I know this worked, and this would help my business grow? Because I think this person wants to Isabel wants to start her own open her own agency one day, but didn't know where to start and kind of like speaking to something like that.
I see it in the chat. It's tough. It's like somebody else would have to tell you the key thing that helped me succeed. I think I don't actually think I know. um like Key would have to tell you that, who hired me, or like any of my clients have to tell you that, to be honest. um I think that just a burning desire to get shit done, I think, will always help you. Constantly just trying to find the work, like avoiding as many planning sessions as you can. You know what I mean? Avoiding as many like meetings as you can, avoiding as many like distractions as you can. I think the more that you get in the habit of like, hey, we want to do this, and then you go meet for an hour at Starbucks to plan it out. It's like that day you should do something like on that list. Don't meet again until y'all got new shit to talk about. I think that has always been my energy. And I think people who were in more successful positions than me saw that. So they always were willing to give me like a shot. Like I think even when I met Elia, the CEO of SoundCloud, and I've asked him about it so I can say this one. Like I was like, why did you give me a key card? And he was like, you were the only person that asked. Like I got employees that don't come into the office. You were the only manager of an artist that signed on the label side that said you wanted a key card to the office. And it took me 3 months to figure out how to legally do that. But I just thought it was crazy that you even wanted to do that. You know what I mean? So to be more specific on wanting to open your own agency one day but not knowing where to start, find a and for clarity, what type of agency, Isabel? If you can type it in there, or if you unmute yourself, this would be really fast. um or if you can unmute yourself, I don't know.
So
At the moment, I'm not really sure, but I really want to open like a marketing agency or maybe an artist, management agency. I'm just kind of leaning towards more music stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's find a client. That's the easiest way in that side. If it's a market agency, then you need to find somebody that you can go market for free. If it's on the artist side, then you need to find an artist who you believe in that doesn't have a manager, that'll let you represent them. Because I wasn't a manager. Like most of my career, I don't know if that made sense. From 2010 to 2019, I wasn't a manager. I was a music video director. When I found Pope, I wasn't a manager. I just knew people in the music industry. Um, and to this day, when me and him talk, I always tell him, like, you validated me as a manager and I validated you as an artist, right? Like him saying, here's my manager made people go like, oh, this guy's got enough going on that somebody's managing him. And then when I said, this is my artist, people were like, oh, he's a manager. I'd say that's the first step. And then going and finding money. That's it. Like, at least in America, finding money is going to always lead to you getting more of what you probably want. So we're a capitalist society. So you figure out how to make somebody $1 and you take 20 cents out of it, you'll pretty much never go broke in your life.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's some solid advice. And I think one thing I can speak to for things you say, you people that have to know you that with what you have done, I've seen you literally was relentless in not hearing the word no. Every time I met you, like, I don't know if you even when I had this conversation about sync, I was like, man, I don't know if we can do that. He said, nah, I think we can. We got to figure this out. We just got to find the right contact or whatever. And so I think you even pushed me in that way. I think understanding, you of course you always know when to move on from something, but it's like I think one of your stronger pieces that you never really took no. You kind of like, okay, let me figure out another way to get them to say yes versus just taking that no. I've seen that just knowing you in these last few years. So
No, for sure. I appreciate that, bro.
yeah, yeah. Um, Going back to some other strategies, like I know you speak big on how artists marketing. How do an artist, I think, stay relevant in this industry in this time? Because we meet a lot of artists that a lot of time they feel like, man, I don't want to be no content creator. I just want to be an artist. Like, what does that look like in this world where you're building? How do you maintain that relevance, either as an artist or even as an executive, either or? I think, but I know you speak to more to artists a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean, I think just being interesting, man, and entertaining. Like, with a lot of our roster, I don't think I spend a lot of time just reminding artists that, like, this is the entertainment industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you just want to make music to make music, um, then we need to build our expectations around that. Like, don't, you know, if you're a rapper and you want a Kendrick level of success, or a Drake level of success, or a J. Cole level of success, bro, you got to entertain. Like, these motherfuckers are entertaining. Kendrick is an entertaining person. Drake is an entertaining person. J. Cole is an entertaining person. You know what I mean? And they figured out how to make moments, and they figured out how to be interesting and compelling to people. Um, a lot of motherfuckers are just boring. So when it comes to staying relevant, I mean, how do you stay relevant, you know, to your friends? How do you stay relevant to, your significant others? Like, you do cool shit. If you sit in the house all day and you just a boring motherfucker that's just like, I just want to be in a relationship, or I want kids and I don't take them nowhere. They just come from, come home from school and, just sit around all day. It's like, you're a boring ass parent and I'm probably going to go hang out with my friends who do cool shit. Like, it's the same thing with an artist. It's like, dog, like, yeah, you rapping, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not interesting. There's nothing really there. This shit isn't exciting. Like, you think about like Alice Cooper eating like a fucking chicken on stage, or like killing a chicken, cutting a chicken head off, Ozzy Osbourne eating a bat and shit. Like, just all this like super, Jimi Hendrix setting the guitar on fire in the 70s. Like, that wasn't regular. That's so regular now. Everybody will do it and feel like they did some shit, but it's like, dog, that's not even exciting anymore. I forgot which band it was, but I was just looking at, I think it was Red Hot Chili Peppers. I forgot which band it was though. It was the lead singer from somebody. He fucking threw the mic over the rafters and then like was fucking like swinging on the mic over the audience and shit, like repelling damn near off the mic. It's like, that's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't want to do that, then you should look at, you know, the Currencies of the world, the Larry Junes of the world, the Puma Blues of the world, and more of like the Indian alternative rock space. Like, you know, look at that option. You know what I'm saying? Currency's my favorite rapper. But Currency isn't necessarily entertaining. Currency is just consistent and just makes music that fits my lifestyle. Like, it's relatively like introverted weed smoker music. But he's not about to like light the biggest joint in the world in the middle of Central Park or no stupid shit like that. So yeah, I would say it's that.
Yeah, man.
Be interesting.
I think that's going to the testament that you show different you show different angles on or different artists. I'm glad you even brought that up. Like I think defining what your level of success is very important, because everybody is not going to be Kendrick. You know, somebody's going to have to be MF Doom. You know, on the way far left side of the game of hip hop, or somebody, you know, maybe Taylor Swift, but maybe I don't want to be Taylor Swift. I may want to be this indie artist I just saw playing an acoustic guitar. Maybe she was able to bring out, like Emily King, able to bring out 500, you know, people a show. And maybe that's just my trajectory. That's my words of success. Because I think the defining thing is about having that cash flow for that kind of stuff. Where do you think, you know, with all the big discussion of streaming conversations, like, where are you seeing this music industry going next when it comes to how to, you do talk a lot about the money, getting to the money of it. Like, where do you think artists should be focusing on in these next 5 to 10 years with the decline of streaming or people looking at alternative options?
I don't know, man. I think it's the Wild Wild West. I think that's like the $1 billion question, or the $52 billion question is what's next? I got theories, you know what I mean? Like, I got
Yeah.
guesses and hunches.
Give me one theory. What do you think we're going to be at?
I think we're going to be closer to like working class musicians. You know what I mean? I think we're going to be closer to I guess like the conversation I just had with somebody that's like able to kind of change how things happen in the industry at a really, really high level, is that you know, if somebody said they wanted to be a doctor, nobody, like your parents would be proud, or a lawyer, like your parents in theory would be proud of you. It takes about 10 years to become like a successful doctor. Like, you go to college for 4 years, you go to med school, you do residency. In that process, you're not really making no cheese. You're not really getting no money. You going to college for 4 years, maybe it was full ride, so you didn't pay anything. I think a doctor in residence makes like, I think like $80,000 a year or something like that, maybe like 120,000 a year or some shit like that. That's 8 years into doing this shit. That's 8 years into pursuing that career. And the whole time your family's proud of you. You know what I mean? The whole time, as you you know, try to find a mate and build a family, there's a sense of security that comes with that when you say that. When you say like, hey, I'm pursuing, you know, I'm 25, I'm in med school. It's like, oh, that's a good catch. You know what I mean? Male
Yeah.
or female. When you say I'm a musician, people are like, oh shit, like, I'm gonna be supporting this motherfucker for 8 years or like forever. Like, he's broke, she's broke. Like, oh God. And I think that we're gonna wind up getting closer to like the $300,000 a year, $700,000 a year artists. Which I mean, I'm assuming most people aren't in the music industry, but that's like a failing music career. You know what I mean? That's like a horrible music career, like by major label standards. Like, if you make like 600,000 a year as an artist, it's like, oh my God, like.
But to the labels though, but in real life, that's
Right,
an
right.
amazing
That's what I
career.
mean. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
when you ask it what the theory is on the future, it would be I think we're gonna wind up getting closer to a much clearer pathway on what the first 4 years of pursuing your artistry looks like, what years 5 to 8 look like, and then in year 9 or year 10, you're making what a doctor would make, which is, I mean, it could be, if you don't have a private practice, you might make $250,000 a year as a doctor. Drive a 5 Series Beamer, have a mortgage, you know what I mean, some health insurance, and like a family. I think we're gonna get much closer to that over the next 10 years. Or let me change that. I don't think we're gonna do that. I hope we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
The more that I'm in this position, the more I understand what the roadblocks are to do that. And they're big roadblocks. But the tools are being built that you should be able to make $200,000 a year if you've been
As an
pursuing
artist,
music.
or
Yeah, if you're good too. Like you can't be
yeah,
a shitty doctor and make $250,000 a year. So if you're a shitty musician or a shitty producer, you're gonna have to switch careers the same way you would if you're a shitty pilot, um, or anything else. You know what I'm saying? If you're good though, like I think you will make $300,000 a year. It's so crazy. I'm taking this call from the middle of here. Are you the only person here over here?
I'm in this office.
man, that's good. That's good advice. I'm glad that I just want to hear the people to hear that, because some people don't think there's longevity in music, a lot of times. But getting to some of these questions in the chat, going back to your video, I had a videographer question. She said, do you think there is still a demand for videographers now in comparison to when you started? Like, because a lot of artists just drop visualizers or for their album releases. Like, do you think music videos are still important?
Hell yeah. Shit, I'm paying the invoices. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, for sure. I think your pitch may have to be different, but yeah, are videos important? Shit, I don't see, TikTok and Instagram. Um, okay, TikTok, Instagram, whatever platform you want to talk about, ain't none of them scaling back on video. So I don't know why anybody would scale back on video. I think if you mean, are we still in the days of like the $1 million Hype Williams, the world cares about a music video world? Nah, probably not. But is there a need for somebody to create a video component to the music? Yeah. But you got to remember how we even got here. We got here because of the invention of the TV. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And then MTV deciding to stream, and I'm using that term on purpose, music videos to promote music. That wasn't like a regular fucking thing. You would go on American Bandstand if you were with Motown, or you would go on Soul Train, but there wasn't necessarily a music video component to that. The music video was an invention because, TV came and took radio up out of here. So if you're a music video director, then you should be thinking through like, what are the current inventions that are going to dictate how people consume music? And that's it. You should build for that. If I was 17, I would probably be directing TikTok music videos or some shit. I wouldn't do that now because I'm 32 years old and I don't really be on TikTok like that. But if I wanted to do that for a living, yeah, like make it for where everybody is looking, everybody on TikTok.
yeah,
Fly shit on TikTok and charge people $1,000 for it and do that 50 times a month and go make 50 racks. Like, but nobody's not. Everybody's posting videos. My mama on TikTok. Mama's 72 years old.
yes. Definitely, my mom definitely sent me TikTok videos all day for
You
sure.
feel me?
Like,
Everything video. We in more video times than ever.
yeah. We had another question from I believe that's Dennis on here. How do you deal with rejection? You know, when family, when they don't believe or tell you or make no money or security, they tell you that. Like, how do you deal with rejection from your family, or even just as you're going along this career?
Um, Shit, I don't know, man. Honestly, like if I tell you the truth, I've been broke pursuing this. Shit. Yeah, I don't really know. Just knowing that I wanted to do what I'm doing. Like
What kept you going?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Knowing that I wanted to do what I was doing. Like I think and I really don't want this to sound like poetic because it's not. Like, and it's not necessarily, inspiration is very much something that I'm trying to stay away from, kind of.
Yeah.
But and it's gonna sound like a fucking like this is gonna sound cool, but it's like just believing and knowing that what I'm doing is what I really feel is like the truth for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not necessarily supposed to mean like if you want to make a lot of money, then you should do things to make a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You want to do something that's important to you and valuable to you. You can't. That shit is priceless. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if I always mess it up, but it's a philosopher. He was homeless though. Alexander the Great goes up to him like this is like a story. It's the homeless man. I think it's Damascus the dog. But he's homeless. He's in like ancient times, and Alexander the Great comes up to him and he's like, "Man, like you were one of the smartest people I know. I need you with me. I need you to help me strategize and think of how to conquer the world and all this other shit." And he's a homeless dude. Alexander the Great's got like this whole army and shit. And the Damascus says, "Man, I want you." He's like, "What do you want?" And he said, "Man, I want you to move because you're blocking the sun. Like that's what I want." And Alexander the Great was offering this motherfucker like gold and all this other shit. And I'm saying that story to say that it's like that's what he wanted to do. I don't want the Benz or the Porsche or the whatever. Like I want to bathe in the sun and get my meals from the world and be this. You know what I'm saying? And I always hold on to that story because like somebody told me that when I was younger and it was so impactful to me because it's gonna be points in this shit where I feel like you might not be making no money and people are gonna look at you like you're nuts and you need to get your shit together. Um, and if you don't know that you want to do what you're doing, they are right. If you do know that you want to do what you're doing, then whatever you wind up doing to survive or however you figure it out, it really don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I don't want that to sound like inspiring in that way. But it's like if you really want to make your parents proud and your family proud, then go do that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go to college. You know what I'm saying? My family was worried about me off top. Fresh out of high school, I'm moving to Atlanta. I'm about to sleep on my homeboy couch. I'm about to work at this production company. My mama like, what you gonna do? Like, how you gonna eat? I'm like, I don't really know. I'm gonna figure it out. And I did everything in between. I worked at Home Goods for like 3 months and then got fired. You know what I'm saying? I sold plasma and would donate blood for them little $25 to go buy a little 4 for $4 at Wendy's. Um, and then somebody would come along with 5K to shoot a music video, and then I'd be up and then be able to do something cool for a little bit and then be broke again and then come back up. Like, but I don't think at any point I ever was like, I'm doing the wrong thing. I felt like my intent was pure. So I think it just kind of worked out in my favor. But I don't know if that helps your question, bro.
No, that's a great, it's an honest answer. It's like it's kind of give you what people are already going through, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you don't get these honesty from, because once you reach a certain level, sometimes it's hard to remember, where you started at sometimes, like to talk about those experiences. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, we want to respect the time. The time is up here, but I do want to give you an opportunity to, let people know where they can follow you, how they can stay in contact, how can they, you know, talk more about rollout, whatever you want to do in this moment to make sure that people, to stay tuned to what you have going on in the future.
Follow me on Instagram. I'm pretty active on there. Shoot me an email. I'm pretty active with that. Let me throw that in there real quick. That's really it, man. I respond to DMs. I'm pretty. I mean, AD, you know that about me, dog. Like I'm not pretty phased by none of this shit. I'm still pretty like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really be wearing Balenciaga and all that other stupid industry costume shit. I don't wear Dior like that. So just hit me. I mean, I just love that y'all are doing this, just to be clear. I'm not tripping off time. I budgeted a little bit, but yeah, I just like doing this. I like that it's a group of people that are just organized to have these types of conversations. So as much as I can be a resource and I have capacity when I do have it, you know what I'm saying, AD, like when you hit me, I for sure made sure that I was stationary and not,
Yeah.
back to the Uber and no shit. So,
You do be walking around a lot when we talking. It's
yeah,
hilarious.
in general, if it was just you calling me, I for sure would be somewhere doing some shit. But I wanted to make sure that I was stationary and like, you know, my environment, it looks cooler now. So, that's what the music industry looked like, y'all. You know what I mean? you can have this too one day if you intern and get water for people and shit. Like,
Do y'all have any internships coming up for Third and Hayden?
we figuring that out, man. Like Key is I met Key. Key was doing a tour for Fat Man Key, and the opening act was his homeboy that nobody knew named 21 Savage, and he had a song called Picky, and I was the videographer on that tour. And I'm telling that story to say that Key and me come from that cloth of we got our opportunities by just being valuable. I drove the car, I set up the merch booth, I was working lights, I was just doing shit. And Key comes from that. So we want to do internships. I think that for me, I'm trying to figure out the best way to I don't like internship culture. Like I'm not a big fan of that like hazing type shit. Like go get coffee and like stuff like that. It's more like I want you to do important things and kind of mess up on things. Because to me, that's like a lot of the biggest execs in any industry. Bob Iger at Disney was an intern. Lucien Grange worked the mailroom before he was the chairman of Universal. So we've been talking about it a lot, just trying to figure out what things we have going on that if somebody fucked it up, we wouldn't implode as a company and they would have a learning lesson. And right, I think a lot of the stuff we're working on, to be honest, is very important. And I don't necessarily
keep us posted on that for sure, because I know with Live Out Live, the organization, can I sit on the board of that as well? So anytime we're looking for industry opportunities for students or just young people trying to get in, let us know. We can source it out to a lot of community that we have. So, but yeah, man, I didn't want to hold it. I know I thought I saw Ron with a question, but I didn't want to.
Somebody got a question. I'm cool, bro. It's 4:00 in LA right now, so I'm.
Oh, you in LA? Oh, okay. I thought you was in New York today. Okay.
Oh no, this the Live Nation LA office, man. It's sunny and people drinking matcha and eating avocado toast and shit. For real. So
Well,
yeah. Who had a question?
Oh, that was me.
Oh, what's up, Ron?
Yeah,
real quick, Ron. We got time for one quick one.
Yes, I know. Thank you. Yeah, just want to thank you for sharing your experience and story. Thanks to Candace and AD for getting all of us connected. I wanted to circle back to how you were discussing expectations regarding pursuing a music career and the fear surrounding a sustainable music career. And I know you were mentioning that you have some experience with kind of managing artists. And I was wondering, what are things that you identify in people that makes you, want to manage them and believe that there's like a sustainable partnership and brand there?
Me personally, or like more so like general industry?
I would say you personally, but I'll take both.
Yeah, to answer both. Me personally, I just like the people. Some of the artists I work with don't have sustainable businesses. Some of them I've told you need to go get a job because this is not going to be your job. Like, it's just not. When you want to put out music, bump my line and we'll put the music out and we'll market it and we'll go find ways to support it. But you probably need to become a songwriter because you're not going to be an artist. You know what I'm saying? But I still love the person. I still genuinely just care about the person and believe in them as a human being. I just want to do life together to some extent. That's what management really, for me, that's what management looks like. Like I'm giving a lot of my life energy to this shit. So if I can hang out with you, if I can get dinner with you, if I can like, you know what I'm saying, just hang out with you and you not like a asshole to other people or a rude person or a bad human being, then I'm pretty much just gonna rock out with you, you know what I'm saying, forever until I have a reason not to. Down to me, I've told my artists before, like, if an opportunity presents itself where somebody has something for you that I don't, I want you to take that. Like you should take that. If I don't need to be involved in that, let me know because you should win. You know what I'm saying? You should thrive. You know what I mean? So on a personal level, that's it. From an industry standpoint, really good music. I'm trying to think about what our A&Rs would say. I wish I could FaceTime Jacob right now and just have him answer this for y'all because he's our head of A&R. But really good music, and a clear, visible attempt at doing the most with what you have. Jacob Blue, I don't know if y'all know who he is. He's relatively discreet, but he signed Doechii to TDE. He's our head of artist growth. at 3rd and Hayden. Really cool, like super cool hipster white boy. He found Doechii in like 2019 or 2020, I think, and she was still doing YouTube stuff. And he was like, man, I just saw somebody that was doing the most that she could with what she had. And I knew if she was given more, she would just do the most with that. So I knew she was going to always maximize her opportunity. So um, the more industry broader answer is like just a clear determination that like you're doing everything you can with what you have. I think that's what people are looking for.
Amazing answer. Thank you so much.
Tight.
Yeah, man. That's definitely our time. Donnie, we do appreciate your time for your busy schedule. I know you out here closing deals. That's why you probably looking at your emails.
I'm getting some texts, but it's tight,
yeah.
man. It's just cool. I don't do this a lot, so this is tight. Like I know this is like
And I think they need to hear it.
professional, but like I wish I like was just like chilling in like a little lounge chair, smoking a joint, like just hanging out, just dropping these nuggets of wisdom and inspiration I didn't even know I had. And now I'm like, oh shit, somebody put a Yoda I'm like, damn, I guess that was a gem. That's just my pain, but y'all like it. I love it, man. Let's pour a little.
No, we 100% appreciate you and your authenticity. I think this is like the realest and the rawest guest speaker that we've had, because everyone else just kind of comes to the table as if they're this expert, but you gave some real life perspective. And we 100% appreciate that, because that is what the music industry is involved with, right? Real people who do real shit, like you said. And so it's really important to hear from people like you. Like I said, we've had other guests and they've all approached the conversation from different perspectives. And that was the realest that we've heard from anyone. So thank you so much, Donnie, for your time. We really appreciate it. Can't wait to have you back for other conversations in the future. Yeah, I just want to say thank you. And if we don't have any other questions, I think the information has been dropped into the chat. Don't forget to fill out the survey, everyone, once you have an opportunity. If you appreciate conversations like this from Donnie and all of the other conversations that we've had, please let us know. And
I'm sorry, Candace, go ahead. My bad.
Oh, no, it's totally fine. And if you have anything last minute things that you want to share with the group, we'd love to end on that note. Donnie, go ahead.
If you're in Atlanta, Music Biz is coming up. Our CEO, Key Henderson, is doing a panel at Music Biz, but our whole team is going to be there at Music Biz. So if any of y'all are in Atlanta and y'all wind up at Music Biz, for sure shoot me a DM or anything like that. Because yeah, we're going to all be there. It's active. And it's just a good conference for y'all to go to. It's a relatively expensive ticket. I'm not going to cap. I forgot how much it was, but I remember when I saw it, I thought it was expensive. But
they got some student rates or some student entry going on. Yeah.
If y'all find a way to get there or volunteer or something, that's a conference you guys should be at. It's a lot of information there, a lot of insights. Spotify is sponsoring a lot of that stuff. Apple Music is sponsoring a lot of that stuff. And we'll be there as well. So yeah, that just crossed my mind. That's May 12th to the 15th. So yeah, man, if any of y'all are in Atlanta, New York, or LA, just bump me, man. I'm in one of those 3 cities at all times.
All right. Thank you so much. You guys have a great afternoon.
All right, y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.